Okay, so here's our setup. We have a laser on the right, a mechanism for coupling a fiber in a laboratory situation on the left-hand side. This is at the time it was purchased, many years ago actually, this is about $1,000 unit, okay? Completely inappropriate for high-speed communications and going out in the field and making a connection. Nobody would ever use something like this. But for a laboratory, what it does provide is a lens here, which is the lens that we're talking about for numerical aperture. I'm going to focus down to a point on the tip of the fiber, and you can see a tip of the fiber in the beginning here as I kind of zoom in, and maybe I should just give it something to focus on here. How about something like that? Okay, so you can see the tip of the fiber sticking out, and this lens here, okay, that lens there, is going to focus that light onto that fiber, okay? So I have some controls here. First of all, I can move that fiber in and out by rotating this. I can move the fiber up and down by turning this. I can move it left and right with a control on the other side. This also has a tilt adjustment, so let's take it to the vertical again. Sorry about making you sick here looking at this, but I also have a yaw adjustment and a roll adjustment here that can basically orient the fiber this way or this way. Let's put the camera back down here. So orienting the fiber in this way. So, all right, so basically I have to get it straight on. I have to get it straight on, assuming, of course, backing this out, that I've got the laser straight on, and that was just a tape job here, so it's just not too accurate. Everybody understand the scenario? Okay, so let's take a look and activate the system. And I've got it, I kind of have it aligned up already, but I made one error before I came, and you'll see what it is here in a second. I'm going to move my drawing pad out of the way temporarily. So we're going to activate this, and you can see now the laser is on. Okay, the red glow is from the lens. All right, it's just the the back side of the lens is glowing. So I'll just kind of show you. See how that works? All right, and then the rest of the light is hitting actually the very tip of that fiber, and the whole fiber is glowing. Okay. Well, first of all, some of the light may not be getting into the fiber, it might be hitting the sides of the fiber, all right? But there's also a bunch of light that's coming in at a bad angle, and those lights are jumping out of the fiber right off the bat, all right? It's too hot for them. If they're coming at a steep angle, they're jumping off right now. So now let's review what that fiber actually is. That fiber, if I put a background again on it, I'll use this pad here, I guess, for that purpose. There we go. This fiber is no jacketing. It has a cladding on the outside and a core on the inside. 50 micron core, 125 micron cladding. So that diameter that you're seeing is 125 microns right now, okay? And it's about the 125 microns is about the size of a human hair, which is, I think, 100 microns, something like that, okay? So considering that the core is 50 microns, that's a big fat fiber, okay?
How many modes can you fit in there?
Made the calculation yesterday. At red wavelength, it was 862 modes, okay? So, all right, now let's take it over here to the back side. In the back side, I have some adjustments for actually rotating the fiber. I don't really want to do that right now because everything seems to be working fine. But let me just show you what's coming out of there. All right, so you can see that it's glowing here. It's coming out, and the very end of it is actually stuff is just popping out of there. So let's put a piece of paper here and see if I can make an image of what's coming out. Okay. In fact, we'll do it with the inside part. So for an image, let's go to I'll get a piece of paper here like this one. And let's start over here with the laser itself. Okay, so here's the laser, and hit the button, and so that's the pattern that's being made. That is now impinging on the front end of that lens right here. All right, that lens is then focusing it down, making that cone of the acceptance angle, you know, that we're showing, and that then comes over here on this side. So let's show you what is coming out. Here's what's coming out of the fiber here. All right. I could turn down the lights here just a bit. Let's go down just a bit, okay? Because I don't need lights here. So let's hit it again. One time I remember I turned the room completely dark. We're trying to line things up. I couldn't see anything. Nothing was working. Struggled along for about 5 minutes, and I realized I wasn't ever pushing the button on the laser. Okay, now, you see those speckles on there? What those are the modes, individual modes. Looks like the surface of the sun, doesn't it? Those are the individual modes interfering constructively and destructively with each other. So where you see a black blotch, that's where the modes are destructively interfering with each other. Where you see a bright spot, many modes are combining their interfering constructively. There's the focus, it just came in. And you can see there's a whole pile of garbage on the outside, all right? The garbage on the outside are modes that would never, actually, they're not modes, they've jumped off, and they're really hot. They're trying to get out of the system. Okay? So, now, the reason, the little mistake I wanted to show you is actually I had this connected to a fiber reel here, but it broke off. So what I'm showing you here is actually the broken experiment. All right, so here's the end of the experiment, and here's that. Just focus it up here. Okay. The automatic focusing system has to realize that this is the action here, not behind. There we go. Okay. So let's now connect up the reel itself. So that's interesting too. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this mechanism out, zoom out just a bit. Oops, the other way around. Well, I guess I'm zoomed out as much as I can go here. So I'm going to pull this thing out, all right, and I'm going to take it over to this side. And I'm going to switch over here to the document camera temporarily. This one. And I'm going to show you how you work with fiber just a bit. So now I'm returning back now to the, now I'm returning back here. We've gotten back, and we're ready to put this back into the system here. Okay, so let's zoom out here. Insert this in here. Okay, and move a few things out of the way. Let's see if we get something. Notice that's completely unaligned here initially. In fact, I've already made a mistake here. By moving the camera, when I moved the camera, the fiber actually fell out. So it's dangling out, and looks like I've already broken it. Okay, so I wasn't very careful, unless this is it. Maybe it's over here. Okay, so I'm all right. What happened is it fell out, and then it scooted over here to the other side. So now I'm going to insert it in real time here, so maybe you'll get a better picture of this action here. All right. Let's see if it can focus. Let's give it something here to focus on. There. How's that? There. I'll take it back, and now we're focused, right? How about that? So you have to coax these things to work. So here is the. This will be on YouTube here, so we can put this on here. YouTube with about 3 hits. All right, winding this in. Oh, I'm sure there's other Okay, now I had clamped this down tight, so I've got to unclamp this down. See, there we go, holding both sides here. And I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to clamp it. I'm just going to let it sit there, all right? So let's look at this front end here. I'm just letting it dangle. All right. And raising this part up here to give you a little bit of a background. Okay. You see, I've done this before. I know how to put a background up. Okay, so I've got a little bit of, I have hardly anything going through the fiber. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold this with one finger, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here and I'd make some adjustments here to maximize what I believe would be the throughput. All right. And what I'm doing here is I'm moving the back one now, which is X and Y, which is the X direction. There. See, just see that little tip start to glow right there? And now I'm hitting this side. Now watch what happens on the back side. I'm getting a large spark here in the beginning. That's not good. You want to have as little as possible. But look at the back end of the fiber here now. All right. Now let me take it out of range here. All right. Now when you're unaligned, this is what it looks like. Okay. Now let me zoom in. Now let me put it into alignment. You see that? That's bad. That's all the light that I'm losing. All right, so I'm losing it like mad. So those that lost this light are modes that are not accepted. They're the wrong angle, or they're either not within the critical angle, or they're within the critical angle but not one of the modes. Remember, I told you have to reject all light except at specific angles, and those are the modes. All right, so they're happily getting rejected all the way down here. And if I would turn off the lights now I am going to turn off the lights. All right, I'm going to drop this. I'm going to turn the camera towards the spool here and drop this down. And I'm temporarily going to shut the light system down here. Okay, so let's see if I can see some action here. How do I shut that off? Okay, here's the spool of fiber. Unfortunately, I still have light. Oh, but again, I didn't push the button yet. So you can see this is disappearing into the murkiness. This is where you write poetry. Into the murkiness of the fiber optic world. And somewhere near the end of this is the output side of that fiber, which is right here. And there it is. It's coming out of it. So these are real modes. All right? These are the modes that actually are supported by the fiber, because by the time it winds itself around and around and around the spool, which you looked at yesterday, all the unaccepted light is gone by now. Okay? So what you see at the end is now the actual modes, which, as this gentleman mentioned, they're probably mixing up between each other. Okay, so that's basically the demonstration I wanted to give you on that.